Welcome to the Riverhawk Roundtable, the podcast filled with ideas, stories, and conversations that matter to our school community. I'm your host, Nash, and today I am talking about boarding life. I'm excited to be joined by two amazing guests, Harry and Mr. Maynard, who each bring a different perspective to boarding as a student and house parent. Our first question to get us started is, Harry and Mr. Maynard, it's both your first year on the Hill. How would you describe boarding or being a house parent to our listeners who may not know what it is? What has stood out to you the most?
So how I would describe the role of a house parent is basically I'm a pseudo-parent to our 46 boarders in Mackay, or as the Mackay boys would call me, Unc. And that just works with trying to help them through daily life, small tasks, just being a shoulder that they can lean on in times of need. I would describe my experience on the Hill as extremely positive, even in the most stressful of times. And there are some stressful times, but it's been fantastic, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's great. What do you think, Harry?
It's been a very interesting social experience. Being with a roommate when I've never have any experience of that before. Waking up for daily routines. Engaging in new things like activities on the weekend or just social events in general.
That's great. It's great to hear. How do weekends differ from weekdays in boarding life?
So weekdays are pretty busy. We'll have school starting usually at 8:15 in chapel and running until 4 p.m. But the biggest thing with weekdays is there's really always events going on, whether it's casino night or Woo Gala. There's always something for somebody on the Hill, which really makes it jam-packed with activities and really, really enjoyable for our students. Now the weekends is really where I come to shine, where I work with another house parent of a different house, and we decide weekend activities that will stand out to the boarders to keep them connected and help them build new connections in their social experience on the Hill.
Yeah, weekdays get pretty busy with work and all your assignments, and it's probably better if you do all your work first before the weekend. The weekend is great to chill and have fun with your friends.
All right, third question. Is there anything important that you have learned during this experience, and how would you carry this into your future years?
The biggest thing is just understanding different perspectives and how different people will react to things differently. Obviously, we are in a very busy school, as we just mentioned, with the weeks and the weekdays and the weekends. And obviously, with people living here, this is a pretty big experience for a lot of people. So you always have to understand and be very empathetic to what everyone else is going through. And really just understanding the different perspectives have been really important for me.
This question's for you, Mr. Maynard. What is your favorite part about being a house parent?
My favorite part is probably those duty nights where we get a bunch of the boys coming down, and whether it's asking about legitimately difficult life questions, relationship questions, family questions, or we're just sitting there and laughing and just having those moments to deeply connect with each other. It's a really cool experience having this in my first year as a house parent and connecting with so many different individuals.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one. All right, Harry. What would you say is the most exciting thing about being a boarder?
I guess all the fun experiences and getting to connect with new people and learning how to...
Like socialize with others, and stuff like that?
Yeah, and getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, that's great. Does boarding come with challenges? If so, what would be the most challenging thing and why?
Boarding most definitely comes with challenges. You have to remember that we have boarders from grade 7 to grade 12, and a lot of people have not experienced not living at home. And so that's a really big adjustment for a lot of people. So just understanding that there's going to be a different level of experience and a different level of maturity with everybody. Now, the positive side of that is we have such a supportive group around us, and not just the house parents, but the teachers, all of the staff, everyone's very supportive. And then of course our amazing students are so great at bringing people in and making everybody comfortable.
I think having a very strict schedule and following the rules can sometimes be challenging, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. But as Mr. Maynard said, there's a lot of challenges like adjusting from your home and being homesick, and learning to be far.
I love that answer. Mr. Maynard, this is another question for you. What's one misconception people have about boarding life?
I think the biggest misconception would be that it's going to be like outrageously strict. Now, it's not that there's not going to be rules, and there's obviously rules that are in place and enforced. However, as Harry just mentioned, you kind of get into the flow of things, and it might take a couple months for some, it might take a couple of days for others, but you do get into the flow of things pretty quickly and pretty comfortably. And then it's just really about doing the things that are going to make you the best person that you can be. And that's really what we're trying to preach here in boarding is we understand that there's a lot of rules to follow, but the reasons why we create these rules is because we're trying to help you grow into the person that you want to become.
I love that. Why do you think boarding is a valuable experience overall, and what makes it so valuable?
There are so many reasons, from the independence to the ability to socialize with different groups of people. After going through my own university experience, and now I'm looking and I'm watching over these from ages 12 all the way to 19 living in boarding, I just think about how much of an advantage these kids are going to have as they grow up and they continue to navigate life, because they're going to be aware of things that others aren't going to be aware of until they get to university and college.
What was the biggest adjustment when you first started boarding?
Ooh, definitely being away from family.
Yeah, it's very hard. Also, how has boarding changed you as a person?
Taught me how to handle situations and manage my time.
Yeah. This one's for you, Mr. Maynard. How has being a house parent changed you as a person?
I think the biggest thing really is just taking those times to reflect on everything going on and understanding when I am reaching my own limit and needing my own space. I think as a house parent typically is, I feel as though I'm a deeply empathetic person, and sometimes I have to remember that there is a line and there's an amount of emotional baggage that I can take as well. And the amazing part about this school is that there's so many supports for students and for staff to make sure that we're all trying to get to the best version of ourselves.
Okay, we have 2 questions for you. How does boarding prepare students for life after school?
So I would say my first year in college, I remember that I had one of my best friends had never done laundry by himself and managed to break a laundry machine in residence. So that's one very tangible way is you're going to learn how to do your laundry. But realistically, that experience of having a roommate, as Harry mentioned, that's a very different situation. Like typically the only peer that you're going to grow up with that has the same level of life experience than you is probably a sibling. Now you can get put with somebody who's from a different place in the world entirely, and you're navigating that situation, and you're learning how to create bonds in different ways, and I think that's a massive help for all of our students.
Great answer. What would you say to parents who are unsure about sending their child to live in a boarding school and go to a boarding school?
First thing I'd say is nobody is ever going to do better than parents with their kids. However, if you're going to look for a supportive environment, we are going to do absolutely everything we can to provide the support that your child would need. And we're going to make sure that we are in constant communication with you so that you know not only are we trying our best for your child, but also we really take your input into consideration with every decision we make day by day.
Great answer. Okay, guys, thank you, Harry and Mr. Maynard, for joining me today and sharing your thoughts. Be sure to stay with our podcast and check out the upcoming episodes. Thank you for listening to the Riverhawk Roundtable.